nuCamp is known for their quality, their craftsmanship, and their really innovative designs. Their Cirrus truck camper line, it's a game changer. We're here at the Texas Truck Camper Rally, and we had a chance to sit down with Richard and Tammy. We're going to talk to them about their Cirrus 820. Let's go.
Hi, Richard and Tammy, we are fellow Texans. We were high school sweethearts, been married 44 years in next week. And one of the objectives we've had is we've been camping our whole life like everybody else. We started in a tent, pop up when the kids were little, bigger, and I think we've had 10 rigs since our inception. And I recently retired, and we wanted to go small. So that was one of the reasons that we chose the truck camper as opposed to some of the other avenues that we've gone in the past.
I finally told him, just go get it. Just please go get it. Because it was like driving me crazy. But anyway, I love it. It's perfect. I thought it was going to be too small, but actually I'm a little bit more of a minimalist. He's not. And normally his stuff kind of works his way over into my space, but it hasn't so far on the truck camper, and I love it. I'm surprised, happily surprised.
We did exhaustive research on the truck campers. Initially, we went to the Princess Craft Truck Camper Rally before we even purchased a unit, just to speak with the other truck camper owners and find out what features they were using, what they were interested in. At that particular time, we had pretty much settled on either a Northern Light or a nuCamp. We decided to go with the nuCamp because of the specific features that it has. But prior to purchasing the camper or making a decision, we need to find out what kind of truck we wanted. So we purchased the truck first, which is a Ford F-350 Platinum, has all the bells and whistles that we need, onboard generator, onboard scales, had all of the stuff that we needed. We wanted a short box, short wheelbase, four-wheel drive with the additional clearance so we could travel to those 15% of the places that other RVers don't go by virtue of the rig that they have. We decided to go with the nuCamp, the 820 specifically, because it was mid-range, it fit on the profile that we needed, it had the weight rating that we needed for the particular pickup that we had, and then it had all the wonderful features that we didn't see in any of the other ones.
It has more of a European feel to the Cirrus, and I like that. It's not too busy, too fussy. And we're finding a home for all our gadgets and objects and clothing, and I'm trying not to make too many changes, just a few here and there, but so far so good. We love it. Modifications, we have where the sink is at, on the right side we put a real lightweight 2 little shelves where we put all our spices. On the left side is we put a towel, like for just a dish towel, and then we also he mounted an under the sink paper towel holder. And in the bathroom we hung a few hooks and for different objects, items, and we're still trying to figure out how we're going to do the soap shampoo thing.
Our objective in building the system was to determine our individual needs. It's a partnership. She had certain needs that she needed. She has, first and foremost, is her ice. One of the things that we really like about the 820, Cirrus 820, is the isotherm refrigerator. I think it's a CF160 SE, and it is a 12-volt compressor refrigerator, which is by far the best refrigerator we've ever had in any of the coaches we've ever had. Not from a size perspective, but from an efficiency perspective. It's 4.6 cubic feet. We found that we can put almost 2 weeks worth of food in there. The problem is the freezer. The freezer is only 3.5 inches by 8 inches by 13. That's just enough to keep up with her ice consumption. So we supplemented that last week with a Bouge RV 23-quart gray freezer refrigerator combination. That worked out perfect for us. Right now there's a 16-pound bag of ice in there that will meet all of her requirements. When we travel, when we leave, I'm a big hunter, so we'll be taking our grass-fed meat with us as we travel about the country. And then as we go to more remote places, we'll put things in the refrigerator and put it from there. The other thing that we like about, actually love about, is the Aldi system. On our first trip, we went out to Quartzsite, Arizona to the big truck camper rally out there. I think the final count was 417 campers. It gave us the opportunity to test it in cold weather, and we were down to 20 degrees in Big Bend. The Aldi system kept it plus or minus 2 degrees, had no problems whatsoever. In building our system, we tried to not purchase anything prior to getting our total rig, and then we would build it from there. Fortunately, we've had the experience of working with some of the other campers at the rallies that we went to, so we've got a lot of ideas on there. With the 820, we had the option of getting the lithium package, which consists of a Victron 3000 inverter charger multiplex system along with 5 Battleborn batteries, 100 amp hours. The unit standard comes with one Victron equipment, one Battleborn battery, and that's enough to run the refrigerator, but we require additional power for consumption. So what we do is we basically went with all electric appliances, everything 1,000 watts or left. The Cirrus 820 has an Ames 1200 watt inverter on it that will power everything for our kitchen needs, either inside or outside. And in order to do that and supplement the power, as I stated earlier, the F350 has an onboard 2K generator. I purchased a Opus Mega 2 solar generator, so as we're traveling down the road, it's charging that particular box along with some other smaller boxes, so when we get to where we're at, if we need additional power, it has a 30 amp plug on it. We plug it in there, turn it on. As far as the 820 knows, we're connected to shore power, so we can run all the plugs and do everything we need on the outside. We also decided as we went along what we needed to do. We sanitized the tank when we got it new. I bought a built-in backpacking filter, USB rechargeable, so all of the water that we drink or cook with is filtered water right straight out of our sanitized tank. So that's a benefit that we have from that particular standpoint. We also got some small things. We actually bought 2 of these chairs at the big tent show in Quartzsite. One of them's already broken, so we're still trying to find the perfect opportunity for a comfortable chair that's foldable.
I don't know much about solar. I'm still in the learning process, and so when we take off, I'm like, okay, you'll have to refresh my memory. And normally I say, let me ask the questions, and that's the way I get my information. Still learning, but we haven't really had too many issues with it. We've always had plenty of power. He's seen to that, to have redundancies.
And that's a key word, redundancy. What I wanted to do is I've got the onboard generator. I carry a Honda 2200 generator in the toolbox on the back, so we have power feeding the power. So we always have a lot of power requirements that we want to make sure we have more power than less. I also have the foldable solar panels. The Cirrus 820 comes with 2 panels on top. It's the flat flexible panels. One is 180 watts. I think the other one's 190 watts. So that provides all of the power they need to run the refrigerator and lights and all the 12-volt appliances in there. My outdoor solar panels, I feed into my Opus Mega 2 to keep that charged at all time, and then we just feed the 820 as though it's on shore power. It works really, really well for us. The beauty of having the truck camper is it's small, it's mobile, and we are totally 100% self-contained. And I can't explain the freedom that gives us, having all the other big rigs and the big fifth wheels and all the other stuff we do. We're small and mobile, and we can stay anywhere we want. But being retired gives a whole new perspective on camping, because like everyone else, we had an agenda. We had a week, 10 days, we had to be here, we had to go, so you white-knuckled it there, and white knuckled it back, and you went into work on Monday morning exhausted because of that. That's the freedom that the truck camper gives us. We can go anywhere and park in a normal sized parking spot.
I would say my favorite place that we've been is to the truck camper rally, which was in February this past year, and met some really nice people, some good friends. We even met them outside of the whole truck camper rally and stayed another night at a lake. And also next year is the 100th anniversary of Route 66, and we're really looking forward to doing that. We did a little bit of it. We went to Arkansas, got into the bad weather, and so we kind of decided, well, change of plans, and decided to go do a little Route 66, which that was fabulous. They have some really neat places to go see and do. I highly recommend it. And I love the camper because before I would have to like have a plan. He would have to have a plan to stop just to get a cup of coffee. And so this is so convenient. You can just pull in anywhere. You don't have to worry about, you can just park in any regular parking spot. And so I know he loves it. I love that aspect of it too, because it makes life a lot easier.
The Cirrus 820, the craftsmanship of it is what us made the decision to make that transition from there. The other thing we found is we can travel with so much less than before. We traveled with everything. We tried to take our house with us. Now our house is a part of us. When you make that transition, you have to do the sidewalk shuffle, when turn sideways, when we go back and forth. We have to make the transition. It has a wet bath, and that takes everything that we need to do. She was originally reluctant for the wet bath, but we figured that out. We went to O'Reilly, got one of the little sponge car cleaners, got terry cloth on each side. We take showers and wipe it all down. It works perfect. Turn the fan on, it evaporates all the water, and it's just a perfect rig for us. When we originally purchased it, our objective was we'll go 2 years and then see what we're going to do. So we most likely in 2 years we'll go back to Princess Craft and upgrade to the latest technology, whatever the Cirrus has. With the onset of the lithium battery and the power information and all the technology, we just see great advances coming in the future. When we decided to buy the thing, really the only place to go in Texas is Princess Craft in Round Rock, Texas, because they have all of the different campers there, any of them you had. And we made several trips there and looked at all the different campers before making the decision to go with the 820. We originally had it. We went to a Princess Craft tiny camper rally in Bandera last year. Was our first trip. We had a few little issues from that. That was one of the reasons that we went with Princess Craft, is we heard from so many people that they support you after the sale. They have experienced technicians on site that can answer your questions. So we went back and had a few little things repaired, and we haven't had any trouble since. And that's one of the reasons we purchased from Princess Craft to begin with, and we'll most likely do that again.
I agree with him. We did go to several different rallies and camper, things, and we heard so many good things about Princess Craft. That's why we decided to go with them. And we made, like you said, several trips up there, and we were, toying between 2 or 3 different campers, and then I knew he wanted this one. I'm like, just go with it, because I was okay with it, and I knew that's what he wanted, and it's his baby, and we're truly enjoying it.
When we made the transition from our larger rigs and getting smaller, one of the things that we look for is mobility. And that is the most important thing for us at this point in our lives. So what I would advise anybody who has the conventional camper, whether large or small, and it's just 2 of you, you can have a child in there putting the table bed down, but it's going to be tight with 3 people in there. For 2 people, it is the perfect scenario at truck camper, because it gives you the flexibility to basically be mobile and move and see the country. There are so many beautiful things to see out there, and the truck camper doesn't restrict you to RV parks or specific things. When you go to the national parks, you can go anywhere you need. You can take it off, go travel for the day, put it back on at the end of the day. It gives you the flexibility. One of the other objectives that we were looking at, if something happens to the truck, we got a camper to stay in. If something happens to the camper, we've got a truck to stay in. So it gave us some flexibility, because who knows what's going to happen down the road.
Our next 2 to 3 years is basically just traveling the United States. We're going to stay a night or two, maybe 3 at the most, before we actually decide where we want to, summer at, winter at, spring at, and but we plan to do a lot of traveling. So that's basically why we chose this particular camper, was to move around, to travel, to go see the United States.
And Princess Crafts gives us the objective to switch brands in the future if we decide to do so, depending on the transition and progression of truck campers is advancing at such a rapid pace, particularly in the power side because of the lithium systems that they have. But everybody's in competition, and it just makes all the truck campers better for the end user.